John Sheridan was Jeffrey Sinclair's replacement as commander of Babylon 5. Under his leadership, Babylon 5 seceded from the Earth Alliance, the Second Shadow War was resolved, and President Morgan Clark was overthrown, after which Sheridan became the first president of the Interstellar Alliance. He eventually married Minbari ambassador Delenn and they had a son, David Sheridan. History. Early life. John Sheridan is the son of David Sheridan, a once prominent diplomat. Academically, Sheridan was said to be an average but enthusiastic student. During his adolescence, he drifted in and out of various hobbies, including a brief but obsessive interest in the works of the Dalai Lama, whom he met when he was 21. He joined Earth Force shortly after the Dilgar War, feeling this was the patriotic thing to do, and wanting to be part of something bigger than himself. Sheridan studied vigorously for his entry exams for Earth Force Academy. The night before the test, he had trouble sleeping. Knowing his son always fell to sleep easily when it rained, John's father went outside and used the garden hose to spray water on the roof, simulating rain. John fell asleep and did exceptionally well on the entry exam. While at the academy, Sheridan met Jeffrey Sinclair for the first time when the first-year cadet made the unfortunate mistake of getting his attention by spilling a tray of food on him. Since Sinclair was just a plebe at the time, and in academy tradition it was every upperclassman's duty to haze plebes, Sinclair later recalled that Sheridan dedicated his last year at the academy to making his life a living hell. Upon graduating from the academy he married his classmate, Elizabeth Lockley. They divorced soon after realizing the relationship was not working. As she later put it, we hit it off, fell crazy in love, got married, realized we'd made a terrible mistake, fell crazy out of love, and split up. Their marriage lasted about 3 months. Sheridan's first posting was on the old Moon Mars run under Captain Jack Maynard. Sheridan and Maynard became close friends, nicknaming each other Swamp Rat and Stinky and getting into, and out of, several sticky situations together. Earth Minbari War. Sheridan was offered a post as first officer of the EAS Prometheus. He turned down the offer out of loyalty to his then current captain Roger Stearns, and because he was uncomfortable with the commanding officer of the Prometheus, Jankowski. Even admitted the bad opinion he had about Jankowski and his worries about him commanding the mission, worries then proved true when during the Earth Minbari first contact, Jankowski's impulsiveness triggered the Earth Minbari War. During the war, Sheridan was the first officer of the EAS Lexington. Sheridan took command of the Lexington when Captain Stearns was killed in a battle with the Minbari Federation Black Star. With the Lexington crippled and unable to fight, Sheridan mined several nearby asteroids with nuclear weapons and lured the Black Star back towards his ship with a fake distress signal. He then detonated the nuclear mines, destroying the Black Star and giving Earth its only real victory in the war. This earned Sheridan the name Starkiller, and was an event the Minbari would not soon forget. Sheridan is the only human captain to have gone up against a Minbari cruiser and won. While the Lexington was still in dry dock, General Robert Leftcourt ordered Sheridan to go on a secret mission to the Epsilon system in Sector 919 along with Dr. Stephen Franklin and Non-Regime Ambassador G-Car to meet with Anne Lashok N.A. Lennon to try to negotiate a peace settlement. The meeting was interrupted when an unidentified ship bombed the site from orbit, killing Lennon. The Minbari soon came looking for Lennon and captured Sheridan, Franklin, and G-Car. Before he died, Lennon gave Sheridan a message to pass to the first Minbari leader he encountered that he knew what was in Dukhat's sacred place. When asked by a hooded Minbari what was in Dukhat's sacred place, he responded as instructed, Isiljar. After hearing this, the Satai ordered the prisoners released. After the failed peace negotiations, Sheridan and Dr. Franklin informed General Leftcourt what had happened and tried to convince him to continue the negotiations, but he told him that the Nans had withdrawn after losing one of their ships. Sheridan was assigned as executive officer aboard the destroyer EAS Leviathan. In 2248, having transferred to the EAS Hector as XO. Sheridan was investigating a Minbari incursion in the Triad sector, when President Levy's call to form a last line of defense around Earth was received. Making the 2-day jump, the ship arrived too late. The war was over and the Minbari had mysteriously surrendered. Post-war and promotion to captain. Following the war, in 2248 Sheridan was given command of Station Io. Susan Ivanova would later join his staff in 2250. On December 3, 2249, John finally married his fiancée Anna. In 2251, Commander Sheridan was among those called to help put down the Martian food riots. In the midst of the violence, Sheridan found himself trying to fight off 4 rioters on his own in an alleyway. Just when it looked like he was about to lose the fight, another Earth Force officer, who had also found himself cut off from his base, came to his assistance. The 2 of them were able to drive off the 4 rioters who beat a hasty retreat, looking for reinforcements. When the dust settled and the 2 recognized one another, the other officer being none other than his old academy nemesis Jeffrey Sinclair, Sheridan said he knew a bar that would be safe and they could call to check in with their respective bases. Taking shelter until the trouble outside subsided, the pair got to talking, finally getting to know each other. Sinclair discovered that despite his initial dislike for Sheridan, he was a pretty decent man and even apologized, just a little, for his behavior at the academy. Sinclair would later say that Sheridan wasn't the jarhead some had made him out to be, and was pleased when he found out who had taken his position on Babylon 5, stating that Sheridan would not be the puppet that Clark had hoped for. On March 2, 2253, Sheridan was promoted to captain by order of the Earth Force Orion Command District, taking command of the Omega-class destroyer EAS Agamemnon, beginning an assignment consisting of exploration and diplomatic missions to many of the League worlds, also making several first contacts during this time. In 2255, Sheridan spent some time at the fortress of Matuk on the planet Actor in the Schlassen Triumvirate, part of an operation known as the Karani Expedition. In January 2256, Sheridan began a 3-year deep patrol out on the Rim. One of several officers shortlisted for command of Babylon 5 before the station first came online in March of 2256. At the request of the Minbari, the position went to his old academy acquaintance, Commander Jeffrey Sinclair. Despite being overruled, Earth Alliance President Luis Santiago put him at the top of his list as his first choice to run B5 in the event something happened to Sinclair. On November 23 of that year, Sheridan contacted his wife Anna, for what would turn out to be the last time, telling her that he couldn't make their planned meeting on Centauri Prime as something had come up. Before ending the transmission, he forgot to tell her that he loved her. Though he didn't know it at the time, Anna had also intended to call off the meeting, as she had accepted an assignment as science officer on the IPX Explorer Icarus. On January 3, 2257, the Icarus was destroyed, with Anna presumed to have perished with the rest of the crew. New assignment. Captain Sheridan took command of Babylon 5 on January 8, 2259, following Commander Jeffrey Sinclair's reassignment to ambassadorial duty on Minbari. Receiving his new orders from General William Hague, Hague also informed him that the renegade Minbari warship Trigati had been sighted near Earth space. Sheridan's success against the Black Star was the primary reason he was chosen by President Clark, both because he knew how to defeat them, an important point should the Trigati attack near Babylon 5, and partly to assert Earth's influence over the station, as the Minbari had chosen Sinclair. The choice of Sheridan was initially protested by the Minbari Federation, still resentful over his victory in the war. The same day Sheridan arrived, Coplan, a member of the Grey Council, came with the Council's own warnings about the Trigati. The captain of the Trigati, Calain, was discovered in Ambassador Delenn's quarters with a weapon drawn against her aide, Lenia. Calain surrendered, but offered no explanation regarding the whereabouts or actions of his ship. At this time, Lenia, per Copland's orders, came to Sheridan and offered an official explanation of why the Minbari surrendered at the Battle of the Line. Lenia explained that Sinclair was captured during the battle, and during his interrogation, it was discovered the humans were sharing Minbari souls. Shortly afterward, the Trigati showed up, apparently on an attack mission against the station. Sheridan prepared the station for battle, but realized that the Trigati was attempting suicide by getting Babylon 5 to attack them. During the war, human weapon systems could not target Minbari ships, however, they could target the Trigati and its fighters now, which aroused his suspicions. He orders no provocation and sends a transmission into hyperspace, betting the Minbari would have a ship nearby. His guess is correct, and a Minbari ship jumps into local space and disables the Trigati, which then self-destructs. Just shy of midnight, Sheridan delivers his good luck speech to a vacant CNC, a speech which he always delivers within 24 hours of arriving on a new assignment, looking forward to his new post. When General Hague informed Sheridan about his new assignment, he also gave him secret orders to investigate fully all the officers on the station. Hague wanted to see if they were all loyal to Earth, as he and several allies had become aware of certain disturbing factions pulling the strings within Earth government. Sheridan agrees to comply with this order. Sheridan was pleased that Susan Ivanova was assigned as his second in command of the station, having worked with her previously. Before his arrival, he put in for a promotion for her to full commander. Several weeks later, the promotion was granted and Sheridan was able to deliver the news personally to Ivanova. The station's chief of security, Michael Garibaldi, was in a coma when Sheridan arrived. Approximately a week later, he is approached by Dr. Stephen Franklin, who proposes using an alien healing device on the chief. Sheridan consents, but insists that he and Stephen work together in shifts. One would donate their life force while the other operated the device. The device works and Garibaldi awakens. Using telepath Talia Winters to help jog his memory of the shooting which landed him in the coma, Garibaldi discovers that his second-in-command shot him and was presumably involved in the death of President Santiago. Soon after the arrest, President Clark personally contacts Captain Sheridan, ordering him to send the prisoner back to Earth. However, the prisoner disappears en route. After these events, John helps Garibaldi regain his confidence and Garibaldi quickly goes to Susan Ivanova's rescue when she is being held hostage. Sheridan is soon introduced to the ambassadors assigned to the station. This includes Jikar, who arrives after a brief absence trying to warn the Babylon 5 Council about an ancient race threatening them all that has re-emerged on a planet called Zahardam. However, Jikar is unable to offer any proof of this claim at this time. Sheridan also meets Delenn, who had been in a cocoon when he first arrives and had emerged as a Minbari human hybrid, an effort at strengthening the ties between their people. At this same time, John's sister, Elizabeth Sheridan, arrived on the station to help welcome him in his new assignment. She also came to check up on him and discovers that he is still despairing over the loss of his wife. She offers her emotional support. She also gives him a data crystal containing a message Anna sent her before leaving on the Icarus. The message is a great comfort to John, who is able to set aside some of the guilt he has felt over her being aboard the Icarus when it was lost. After Ivanova's promotion is confirmed, Sheridan explains to her that he would like for her to pick up some of the minor diplomatic issues that come up. As a first assignment, he asks her to find a peaceful solution to the Drazi civil war that is resulting in outbreaks of violence on the station. Although she breaks her leg in the process, Ivanova does not disappoint him. Meanwhile, Sheridan is approached by Ambassador Londo Mollari, who warns him about the appearance of over 100 technomags that had recently arrived. Sheridan is also contacted by Earth government, asking for him to look into the migration of the mysterious beings. Sheridan contacts Elric, the apparent leader of the group, and after an icy first meeting, where Sheridan learns Mollari's motives were hardly altruistic, the two reach an understanding. Sheridan promises not to interfere with the Technomag's departure and they soon leave the station, hoping to never be seen again. Elric also warns Sheridan about a black and terrible storm coming. A few weeks into the job, Sheridan's old friend and former commanding officer, Jack Maynard, arrives on the station with the EAS Cortez. While Sheridan is happy to see his old friend, Maynard manages to touch a nerve in Sheridan by suggesting that maybe he has been benched by Earth Force, as command of a space station is far different from command of a ship. Sheridan confesses his frustration with Ivanova over his trouble adjusting. The Cortez leaves a few days later, but an accident aboard leaves them stranded in hyperspace, off the beacons. Sheridan devises a daring rescue attempt of the station's Star Furies, daring as no ship lost in hyperspace had until then ever been recovered, which is ultimately successful in finding the Cortez and helping it return to the station, along with all but one of the Star Furies. Sheridan renews his commitment to the station, coming to a newfound acceptance of his post.